Hello and welcome to a brand new episode of Dinks with Kinks. Before we get into tonight's episode, I want to remind everyone that we are in fact on that social media. And if you could go and follow that social media at Dinks with Kinks on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. So we took a little bit of break, so I want to thank everyone for letting us have that holiday break to celebrate Thanksgiving. I am your host, John Dondero, and with me, as always, the very beautiful yet slightly teasing Miss Rebecca.
Only for you, John. Hello, everyone.
And a man who less teases, more pokes and prods, Mr. Shep.
Oh, I thought it was supposed to be less teases, more pleases. Whatever. Hello.
You want more
good
pleases?
evening.
Okay, well, okay. Please the audience tonight and give us our first pun of the night.
No punny for you.
No punny for me? Oh.
Mm.
So we're doing our second part 2. We've had part 2s on the board since like season 2, and we're back. We've done 2 in one season, and I'm pretty excited about it.
But part 1 was so bad, this is part 1.5.
Yeah, I will say this is 1.5 because, yeah, episode part 1 was just kind of a train wreck.
Just a little.
Oh, only because of technical
difficulties. It had a lot of runs in the technical field.
It had so many technical runs.
It had a bad run.
Really bad run. Just had to rip it open. But we are talking pantyhose / stockings tonight, which is a very popular fetish. I know at least one of us has
Santa
that fetish.
stockings?
Ooh, like Santa stockings. No, Shep, get out. Bah humbug on that bullshit. I'm just kidding. I'm very excited it's Christmas.
We're recording this in December, and stockings. It's so much fun.
It worked out really, really well. No, part 1, it was so crazy when we did part 1, and if you go back and listen to it, I must apologize in advance. We were still a live broadcast, not an audio podcast. Not to mention, we only had me and special guest Nev, and we had another special guest. I cannot remember who they were. They were a content producer.
Yes, it was a female. It was a female.
It was a female who made content in that field. But yeah, there was a lot of technical difficulties. The audio quality wasn't great, and we didn't get into a whole lot of things because honestly, half the episode was us going, "Okay, let me fix this. So let's do this right, guys. Since neither one of you are on the episode, what do you know, and how do you feel about this fetish?
What do I know about this fetish other than that you have it? I know what I do know. I don't have this. I do have a I don't know, maybe a stocking kink. I love thigh highs. I love stockings. I do. I'm not like pantyhose. Like I like them better than pantyhose. It's just a personal preference, but I love the feel. A lot of people love the feel of them, and it's unisex. It's not just women wearing the pantyhose. It's unisex, and I find that very appealing as well. Is that this fetish is not just one gender. It's all genders, and absolutely. I like that a lot. And it's the feel, it's the look, it's an aesthetic, and it's a fun thing that I bet could be very difficult if you walk into a business setting.
Oh yeah. Oh, I've got stories, and I'll probably tell these stories later in this podcast, more personal experiences. What about you, Mr. Shep?
I know what I know about this is strictly from hearing it a lot about from you and your enthusiasm to it and such. So I've never really personally been into it specifically, or been with any kind of partners or subs and such that had it per se. So it's mainly experiencing it through you, my enthusiastic lover of all things hosiery. Though I can appreciate some good fishnets. I mean, yeah, I can.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I think fishnets really do count in this, and we're going to talk about every aspect, because I think the one thing we didn't do in part 1 is we titled this episode Pantyhose Part 2, but in Part 1, I do want to talk about, like, it's not just pantyhose, it's stockings, it's thigh highs, it's fishnet. It is the appeal of more or less leg covering. That's what really goes into this fetish. It really boils down to a paraphilia, which, you know, we've mentioned 1,000 times over. In fact, this was the first paraphilia we talked about on Dinks with Kinks, being that a paraphilia is an attraction to an object outside sexual organs, be it clothing, a body part, outside, like a foot, any type of material that is not typically donated towards sex. Now, I'm here to say thigh highs have always leaned towards sex appeal because they're the classic lingerie.
I love thigh highs. Oh my God, I love thigh highs. I do. I love them. I love wearing them. I love how I look in them. I like how women look in them. I just, it's, I like thigh highs. Yeah. I like the top, how they look at the top on the thigh. Yeah.
Are you a lace top person, or are you like the solid?
I'm a lace top person.
Types. Okay.
There is. I'm a lace top person. I like how they look like regular thigh highs, like even the thigh high socks. But I like the lace at the top, and I also like the design. You know how sometimes they have the designs that go up the back of the stocking. I like that seam look too. Yeah, and my favorite pair has a back seam. My favorite pair of stockings does. So.
I have a scenario for Rebecca. What about if under those dress whites they were wearing some nice thigh highs?
Ooh.
Would that be like
male or female?
Double.
I mean, yeah. But because I know this, there's regulation hosiery that must be worn with a female officer's dress whites. So John, you might want to look up the female dress whites. Just
okay, go ahead. Tell me, what is the standard hosiery?
It is a standard issue nude hose.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. It's the opaque one that you like so much.
So what you're saying is the Navy has some standard issue nude hose.
Actually, nude hose, by definition, is not opaque. Opaque denotes the bleed through of color. Nude hose, you'd be able to see the bare leg, which makes them opposite opaque. Like if you imagine like a thick pair of black tights that kind of look more like legging style, that'd be more opaque.
Nude hose.
When you're talking about pantyhose, and I don't know if you could tell or not, but I may have this fetish, and I do have a fetish for your standard classic pantyhose, just like what your grandma wore. It's the worst fetish to have in 2022. I absolutely, and your opinion, Miss Rebecca, about not a fan of pantyhose is usually the collective opinion of every woman I've ever encountered, which I'm okay with. I get it. You know, I understand having this fetish is a very rarity. So
I have actually, the whole reason I dislike regular pantyhose is because I used to work at a job back in the day when you worked for a department store. You had a uniform. You had to wear certain wear, and if you were to wear, you had to wear pantyhose under your pants, and at all times you had to wear pantyhose at all times. And so I wore them for a couple of years, and it got to be where I didn't associate it with me feeling sexy. I associated it with me feeling like, okay, this is my uniform, I got to put it on, and it wasn't a sexy thing.
Yeah.
So,
I think that denotes to what we talked about in the uniform episode when we covered uniforms first go around, and I think we did a live stream about it as well, where, you know, a lot of people will have the uniform fetish, but the people who wear these said uniforms don't associate them with sexual attraction. They usually feel kind of crummy in their outfit because they're like, oh, I gotta go to work today, I gotta put on this outfit. And that has been what pantyhose has been most of women's lives, is being told to wear them. So I could get why this is not an appealing factor to women, because it is I have a job where I have to wear them, or I am expected to wear them. And I'm like, that's no fun.
I think that's why it's a sexual appeal for women to wear the thigh highs, because it is that it's a way to still wear the stockings and feel sexy and have that feeling and the look without having the whole uniform on. It's like the whole schoolgirl uniform. Like if you actually wore a school uniform, it's not flattering, it's not fun, but you can make it sexy. And I feel like that's what thigh highs or stockings is to the equivalent of a pantyhose is like, you know, the sexy up version, the sexed up version, I guess. And,
you know, so describing basically what this fetish is again, I am attracted to the material, like the nylon feel, which is what you described for about stockings too, like that almost shiny look. And so I started this podcast because I dove into the science behind why I liked what I liked, like what made my brain develop this fetish. And I actually accounted it to several things in my upbringing. One, I grew up being hypersensitive to touching, like skin on skin contact. So like that was that safe barrier of texture. Like I'm very tactile. I respond different. Like there's a type of felt, I can't touch it.
Oh, really?
Yeah, there is a type, and it's not stockings, but it's like sometimes they put book covers on it. Like you've seen them on cookies. It's a type of felt.
Oh yeah, like yeah.
It is almost painful for me to touch it.
Huh.
And I think that's just how my skin reacts to things. So I'm a very tactile person. I'd be great if I were blind, because I could just feel everything and be like, I know where I'm at. I know what the material of this paint is. I know what color it is.
Well, but I the pantyhose and stockings, the nylons, it has a very distinct feel. Like that, it is like stockings and pantyhose have that very distinct feel, and it's very unique to them. I think I feel like there's no other material that really feels exactly like a nylon.
Absolutely, it is such a distinct feeling, and I think that varies. Support for Dinks with Kinks is brought to you by Manscaped, who is the best in men's below the waist grooming. Their products are precision engineered tools for your family jewels. Manscaped's Performance Package is the ultimate in men's hygiene bundle. Join over 6 million men worldwide who trust Manscaped with an exclusive offer just for you. 20% off and free worldwide shipping with the code DWK20 at manscaped.com. If my math is correct, that's like 12 million balls. So let me get personal with you guys. I'm going to be honest, I have used some pretty sketchy means to get rid of the hair down there. I have done everything from wax, those rusted scissors that you always find in your bathroom. I don't even know how they get there. And that cream that burns the hair off and turns you into just a giant chemical burn for like a week. Then I found Manscaped. Their Performance Package 4.0 has arrived, and oh man, is it a game changer. Inside the package, you'll find their Lawnmower 4.0 trimmer, Weed Whacker ear and nose hair trimmer, Crop Preserver ball deodorant, Crop Reviver toner, Performance boxer briefs, and a travel bag to hold all those goodies. And they all fit perfectly in there. Oh my god. First off, that Lawnmower 4.0, that trimmer is of the future. It's probably one of the best ball trimmers I've ever used down there, and I have used every manner of hair trimmer down there, including the one I use on my face, which is kind of gross when you think about it. Their 4th generation trimmer features a cutting-edge ceramic blade to reduce grooming accidents thanks to their advanced skin-safe technology. The Lawnmower 4.0 is waterproof and also has a 4,000 LED spotlight for when you need a precise save. And trust me, fellas, you don't think you need a flashlight till you get down there and you're like, oh, it's lit up. I'm loving this. Because this trimmer is waterproof, you can say goodbye to the mess of the bathroom floor. Just pop that sucker in the shower and just bzz, 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 bzz. You thought that was good? But I want to take your grooming game even further, to the next level. The Performance Package 4.0 also includes the Weed Whacker nose and hair trimmer. The Weed Whacker is a waterproof, provides their proprietary skin-safe technology which helps reduce nicks, snags, and tugs of those delicate nose hairs. And trust me, getting to my age, you get some nose hairs in there, and you try to hide them in your beard, you can't. You can't do it. There's no mustache concealment. You just got to get in there and take care of them. You just stick that sucker in and go to town. Their Crop Preserver, Ball Deodorant, and Crop Reviver Ball Thunder will change the way you approach your hygiene routine. Trust me when I say this, fellas. Your balls will thank you. I used that stuff, and oh my God, did it smell amazing. And it actually really helped with, like, day-to-day chafing. I didn't realize chafing was a thing. Like, I was one of those people who's like, oh, I'm never chafing, until I tried this stuff. And I was like, okay, apparently I have just been uncomfortable for 40 years. Cool. Glad to know. Manscaped is not only going to give you all of that, but they're going to throw 2 free gifts in their Performance Package 4.0. The Manscaped Boxers and the Shed Travel Bag. Bring your comfort and boxers to another level. Those boxers are incredibly comfortable. They snug everything, and it makes it actually look pretty good. So, you want to wear them around, just look yourself in the mirror and be like, oh yeah. Anyway, it's time to take care of yourself. Go to manscaped.com and get 20% off and free shipping with the code DWK20. I'm telling you guys, get 20% off and free shipping with the code DWK20 at manscaped.com. That's 20% off and free shipping at manscaped.com, DWK20. Unlock your confidence and always use the right tool for the right tool at manscaped.com. Now, back to our show. Now, I know, Mr. Shep, you have a thing for skin. You like good skin-on-skin contact. Do you consider yourself a tactile person?
Yes. I mean, because even when I do soft play and all that kind of stuff, and even nerve touch, which is an extreme level of like softness when skin on skin, I'm always touching different materials to gauge them and their softness for those different things. So yeah, I can say that. And the way you were talking about, some of those things that it's almost painful to touch. I almost feel like, or in my mind, I got this hint that stockings were helpful to you, because sometimes, depending on how you touch skin, it can be really sensitive. Like I said, that's why they call it a nerve touch. So maybe stockings were almost like a desensitizer for you. So it was like a nice touch for you, whereas that soft skin on skin thing can be almost too much for you in some cases.
That's actually 110% it. It is that safe. It's that safe barrier. It's well, it's like, okay, so we're recording a podcast right now, and most of us have a little filter on our microphones.
Mm-hmm. We all do.
And it kind of helps mute without muting. Like, so it's still there. Like, I still feel like I am touching you. Like, if I touch you through a shirt or something like that, you feel the shirt.
Touching me there.
And it doesn't conform to the body. Like with like pantyhose or stockings on that. If someone were to touch you in a pair, I don't think you would lose any, for the most part, sensation behind the touch. Right. And that's kind of like where mine really lied. And I think as a child developing that, you feel like, you go up and grab your mom's leg or somebody's leg, and you're like, oh, that wasn't jarring. And that's an immediate connection in my brain going, I still feel like I'm touching a human being, but I don't feel like I'm touching them. And like I said, this could be very various for different people, because part one, I talked about it being media driven. A lot of people with this fetish tend to be older when they, growing up, seeing, superheroes on television, Star Trek, big shows. Everybody wore pantyhose. And it was very easy to connect to that brain of like, pantyhose equals attractiveness. I'm attracted to that. Click. So I always wonder if, like, am I the rare case of I have this fetish because of hypersensitivity, or just is it media driven? Did I see something as a kid that like snapped right? Or like I think we talked about it in another episode about fetishes in general. Is it just my brain was miswired and pantyhose was the thing that fell into it? Like same with foot fetish or any type of paraphilia. Your brain miswires, misconnects somewhere, and it just transfers a random item in there in place of.
I don't think that that's the case. I mean, I don't know for sure, but I also don't think it's media driven either. I think that for you, it is that tactile, that sensitivity, that touch. You are a very touchy-feely person, but it's hard for you to be touchy-feely. And so I think that this is a way for you to not only physically connect with somebody, but emotionally and like be intimate with somebody is that being able to touch them without, I think that that's where it sort of lies in it. It isn't necessarily wires getting crossed, but I think also psychologically it's you being able to connect with somebody and touch them, and it's that whole it's a lot of combination of things of that. But that's where absolutely. I don't feel like it's media driven for you anyway.
I for you, instead of a danger zone, it's like your safety zone.
Safety zone.
The safety zone.
But also I want to I think another popularity for this fetish is and of course we talked earlier about like females being expected to wear, it being a requirement in some places. That in itself, a lot of people with pantyhose fetishes do enjoy wearing them themselves for, and I quote, the femininity behind it. It is hardwired in our brain that pantyhose is a feminine item. And don't get me wrong, I love that fact. I mean, I wear them. I'm going to tell you right now, I love pantyhose that much. I'll wear them. And it is very feminine. And I don't particularly, like, I am not a feminine type. I very much secure in my gender, who I am. But a lot of people who do enjoy wearing them or enjoy seeing them, enjoy them for them being feminine. It's a very token of feminine, and I don't mean as in class right or like, you know, women are less or more. I think it's just a plain fact. Like, women wear makeup. It doesn't matter if you're the boss, the lowly employee, if you're in charge, you're in control, or anything.
But now makeup has become also multi-gendered. A lot of masculine men do makeup better than me. They are amazing. I like follow them all the time. But I also want to point out that hosiery was also worn by men. All way into the Middle Ages and back all of those, that was the standard, and it was because it made your legs look shapely and you could see the muscle tone in that, and it wasn't just feminine, it was more about the look, the aesthetic of the muscles and the legs. It's how you showed off your legs. And so that's not necessarily, I mean, yes, it's a feminine thing, but it could also be a very masculine thing. And wearing the hose, and it shows, guys, don't skip leg day. Like, you know, I mean, and just like the feel and the look when it clings to your leg, it does make everything way more shapely and more pronounced. And I know when I wear stockings, I love how they make me feel, and I love how they make my legs look. I just don't like the full pantyhose. It's a comfort thing for me. I prefer the feel and the look of stockings and thigh highs and garters, and that's just my aesthetic and my appeal. But yeah,
and let's not forget those confusing times when there was those men that would walk into those gas stations and banks, and for some strange reason they were wearing them on their heads, and they were very confused and lost.
I guess, yeah.
Those were tragic times, but we recovered from that. Now everyone's fine.
Where their faces all smushed.
Their faces all smushed, and Like, no, guys. Your crotch is supposed to be smushed, not your face, I guess. Yeah.
Oh, is that like, does that combine pantyhose and CNC?
I mean...
Well, I mean, we're going to get into, like, how you could just blend and how... and I think I've talked about this on a Would You Will when we had Kendera on there. On the Would You Will, our lovely giantess. But it is a gateway fetish. It is like a staple in so many other kinks. If you think... You see stockings and everything because they just transcend. They're a great addition. And also pantyhose. I mean, if you think about the cosplay fetish, the uniform fetish, bondage... You name a fetish, and you could throw pantyhose at it. It's a very great accessory fetish, and I love it. Or accessory kink. And it's fantastic.
It is.
Also, I was Googling when men stopped wearing hosiery. It was around the 1800s. Is when it started making the transition from men to women.
Well, women wore stockings too, but they were like the
It went
socks.
from bros to hoes.
They were more socks like stockings, and the 1800s is when actually the pant and the trouser became in fashion, and so that's when it transitioned into stop wearing hose for men and started wearing hose for women, is because pants and the suit came into more of started actually making the scene, and that's when it transitioned.
Oh,
I have
absolutely.
useless facts of history. Lots of history and facts of history.
But I love stuff like that, and I think we have talked about but I think it is part of us still hardwire to being, at least a lot of people, because you typically see this fetish with a lot of older gentlemen. And I will say this, it's coming full circle, because now that hoes are becoming more gender neutral and more people are wearing them, but it still denounce that femininity. And I don't think that in a bad way. I think that's a very great way for somebody who is trying to be very gender fluid, or trying to express that side of their gender. Like if I have a very manly build, but I'm wearing something feminine, it kind of balances me out. And I do appreciate that about this particular fetish, because it does have, it's one of those things where you can associate it with women, but not in a negative way. Because there are so many stereotypes where you're like, oh, well, that's a woman's thing. And it's like, well, that's kind of sexist. I don't like that. But I'm like, this is pantyhose. It's like, okay, yeah. So... there's no, oh, you sexist? No, it's typically a woman's garment. Cool.
You want another fun fact? You want another fun fact about hose? Here's pantyhose. Here's another fun fact.
Wait a minute. Do you have just a list of pantyhose facts pull up on your screen?
No, I just know random historical facts, so it's fine. Right. And this actually just happens to fit. During World War I, during the trenches, the Scottish and Irish, when they wore their kilts in their uniforms, they actually wore women's hosiery to keep themselves warm and protected from the gases of the war. So they used that as several different. It was multi-purpose, but they used to wear them in the trenches during World War I.
Would you like another fun fact about the same time period and World War II? Because nylon was used in the war effort, that many women used to paint the seams on the back of their legs to make it look like they were wearing hosiery, because that was one of those class rights. Oh, I can afford nylons.
And in World War II, they used to use them as the Americans used to use them to sweeten up the pot for the nice European chicks that didn't have any hosiery. Look at us.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. But I remember that being a fun fact, is that they would, during the war efforts of World War II, they would paint the back seams on, because those were a very popular style, and you wanted people to think that you had the class and you were wearing hosiery. That would have upset me if I'd have reached around and just wiped off someone's back seam and be like, oh, did you just doodle on yourself? What the hell? Just go bare leg. It's okay.
You doodle on yourself.
You doodle on yourself? Listen, you're lying to me now. That's what this is, lies. Secrets and lies.
I I have a question for you, John. I know that we've talked about we weaved in the pantyhose fetish through most of this podcast, or like in the history of this podcast. But what is your favorite way to play with hose? And like when you're in a play scene, or what's your favorite way to use hose in a scene?
Well, I mean, okay, so be honest, and I've had to tell many women this, so I'll tell the internet. One of my
you don't have to if you were comfortable.
Oh, no, I'm very comfortable. I don't care. You know me, I'm an open book.
Right.
No, actually, one thing I very much enjoy is not only is pantyhose like very close personal, but it's also like very rippable. Mm-hmm. And I don't like runs in pantyhose. I'm a very big perfectionist, but I like that it's kind of like you're encased in it. Mm-hmm. You're wearing it from your waist down. All your fun bits are now covered, but you can still feel everything, but you can't access anything. Mm-hmm. So, you know, like, I love the material and feeling just very hands-on, very touchy-feely, and then it's all edging and teasing and edging and teasing, because you could feel everything through the pantyhose, but you can't actually do anything about it. Like, you can't get bare contact. So it's very fun to do edge play and just tease and tease and tease, work, grind, all that, and then rip that sucker open like it's Christmas Day. Tear the crotch out like an animal. Like, it's very animalistic. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Oh, I have ripped him open with my teeth. I have ripped him open, like, I have teased it to the point where a little hole will form and then just bam right through.
Nice.
And he was like Flintstones, went bam, bam, bam,
bam, bam, bam, bam, bam. And at that point in time, I have edged myself because there's nothing I can do about it, and my partner is edged. So, and it's fun feeling that material and watching someone squirm in it. Like, it's not just the texture I enjoy. I very much enjoy the sight of it. Like, this is the worst superpower in the world. But if you walk me into a crowded area, I can tell you in seconds who's wearing pantyhose and who's not. And I don't even have to look. I just know. It's just like the stupidest superpower in the world. Like, you could put out fires. Stupid. You could put out fires. I could tell you who's wearing pantyhose. Yours is so much more useful. No one ever calls upon me for my superpower.
We're our own Justice League, I guess.
Yeah. The worst Justice League of all time. The culprit was wearing pantyhose. We'll call John. He knows. He'll be able to figure it out.
It's the Just Us League.
Just Us League.
The Just Us League.
So, but yeah, no, it's very much a sensation and visual aspect. Like, I like short skirts, or like even long skirts, and you're wearing them, and you're not wearing any underwear underneath them. Like, you're very commando underneath a pair of pantyhose, which is super hot, because that means you can see everything. If you're wearing, like, I'm not a big fan of nude hose, but I don't like opaque hose either. Like, I like kind of like the black or the tan. It's very shiny, but also very see-through. Mm-hmm. So you can still see everything. Like, I'm partial to seamless, because there's none of that cotton crotch or control top that makes it thicker. Mm-hmm. It is essentially the same material that's on your leg all the way up, every part of you, which is great for many things. So
your face, great for many things. I love how happy you are right now. I love how
thanks God there's no pants cam right now, because
I know I just want to describe for our audience, because they can't see his face, but it is so like happy right now. It is so he's so happy, and it's adorable, and I love it. I want to go scooch to your face.
Like I said, it was like I said, the reason I wanted to start this podcast, because, like I said, not a lot of people feel comfortable. I've been in the fetish community, especially with pantyhose, for a long time, and I had somebody contact me today on FetLife, and they're like, "I love pantyhose. My wife doesn't know anything about it." I'm like, "Then you need to talk to your wife." Mm-hmm. At some point in time, that's on you. But I know how hard it is. I know how unaccepting people can be, and I know that it's not a item that many women enjoy wearing. So I went through a very long relationship where my partner could not stand wearing them and would not. And it was very hard.
I'm sorry. I just can't.
I know, Shep. I mean, it's still disappointing.
I allow the tender forehead kisses, but no, I just
listen, just slip on a pair every once in a while, and I'd be so happy.
I think for me, I don't enjoy wearing them on an everyday, daily. But I think that I would wear them. Like they're not so like, oh, I won't wear them. Like if that's like say for example, you and I were dating and that it's like a fetish and I know it's like that is something that I'd be like, okay, as long as I'm not having to wear it all the time, okay. Sure. You know, that's my opinion. And I think that you have to have that gentleman you were talking about on Fet Life. I think you need to have that conversation because you don't know what they're willing to do. Just because you hear me say I don't like wearing pantyhose doesn't mean I won't wear them for you. Like,
yeah. Well, I was like, my partner does not regularly wear them. I have a wonderful girlfriend, but I mean, she's not in nature to wear them regularly, but she's more than happy to wear them anytime for play because she knows I enjoy them. Like, it's one of those things where I don't. Now, ask me if I had a partner who wore them every day, would I be like in heaven? Absolutely, yes. But it's not something that I would ever need or require. That's like saying, you like ice cream, would you eat ice cream every day? Well, yes, I would. Who wouldn't eat ice cream if there was no consequences to it? If I wasn't going to become a fat load or just die of heart disease. Yeah, if I wasn't going to die of heart disease by the age of 42, I would absolutely eat ice cream every day for dinner. Right. I'm not, and I'm okay with that. Mm-hmm. So, I'm not one of those people who are like, oh, my partner has to wear them all the time. It's those little things where you communicate and you share those moments. And my partner does that amazingly. She is amazing when it comes to that because she's like, I'm going to wear them just to mess with you. And
she does. And I love it. Does. I have seen her do it, and it's amazing. Well, I am very thankful that you have this fetish because if it wasn't for you having this fetish, we would not be here right now. I think
I think we would. I think we would have gotten here eventually because I think this is a podcast that I very much enjoy doing, and even if this was the catalyst of it, it's something that I'm glad we have because we have made so many people feel more comfortable. All three of us are more comfortable with ourselves because of this podcast. And except for Shep. Shep's never comfortable. Look, he looks uncomfortable right now. But that's Shep's comfort zone, is him being incredibly uncomfortable.
He's comfortable being uncomfortable. That's cool.
Yeah, he's just like, I'm comfortable with this. Uncomfortable. But, yeah, I wanted to do this podcast to make other people feel as comfortable as we make ourselves feel doing this podcast and being able to talk to us. So if you do have a pantyhose fetish, please reach out to us. Tell us your side of that story. Tell us what you enjoy about it, what really gets your motor going. And any fetish, if you're listening to this podcast and you have a fetish and we've talked about it or we haven't yet, tell us to talk about it. Say, hey, I have this kink. Will you talk about it? We will add it to the wheel. We will absolutely talk about it. And we don't want to just talk about it with ourselves. We want to talk about it with you. So reach out to us at Dinks with Kinks on Instagram, Facebook, Twitch. Every Friday night at 10 p.m. Eastern, we do a live stream where we kind of talk kink in general. Mm-hmm. And we let the community, honestly, is half that show. It's just them talking about their experiences.
Yes. Reach out to us.
And we're ever growing. It's judgment free.
976 John.
Shut up. Get out of here.
My favorite thing is talking with our community and just talking with people in real life and just discussing everybody's kinks and how, or their sexual preferences and what they enjoy and what they don't enjoy, because everyone is different. Every single person is different. You can have the same fetish and the same kink and like it and have it for totally different reasons. And it's wonderful. It is wonderful. Like that's what I love about kink and fetishes. And it's never the same. And it's great. It's so much fun. And I enjoy that a lot. And I
I do
enjoy
too.
listening to you about y'all's kinks.
Yeah.
Same when we did the hair episode and you were so excited. You had that same excitement. Or the uniform episode when we were talking about naval uniforms. And you were just so excited and so eager to talk about it. And that's what we kind of like about our community. Because like I said, I could be on this podcast for hours on end telling you everything I love about this fetish. The reason you have this fetish is a totally different reason. 110%. So I want to hear that. I want to get into and have these deep conversations about any type of fetish.
Yeah.
That
and
said,
I'm the same.
let's
I'm
find
not
out what
much
we're
of a
talking
talker, but I love to listen and hear the things. I'm always
Shovel
up for the
talk.
conversations.
You just gotta ask him the right questions and he won't shut
Indeed.
Do.
Indeed.
up.
The right combination of questions.
Right combination. He's like a code. You gotta crack it.
You got two.
Like my
Twiddle
nuts.
the knobs.
I mean my code. Yes.
Twiddle the knobs. Well,
Speaking
turn
of
them a
knobs,
little way.
we gotta spin the wheel. We gotta find out what we're talking about next week.
Yay!
All right. So let's spin this wheel.
Okay.
Spinning
Oh,
that
God.
wheel. Spinning that wheel.
Oh,
spinning
God.
that wheel.
Sad we didn't get to hear the perfect way to
Oh.
pull on the hose without getting a run, but next time.
Oh, there's videos. If you want to, you can, like I said, reach out to us on our live stream on Instagram. I'll send you a video about how to do that.
You should do that
guys,
on the live stream. You should do the live stream.
I'm really glad we just had that whole conversation about being open and supportive of kinks, because next week we're gonna have a real gas of it. We are going to.
Oh no! Really?
We are going to really. We're gonna really fart around a bit. We're gonna. Boy, there's not a lot of puns you can do that without just coming straight out and saying it. Guys, we're talking about a kink that most people didn't. Most people. This is going to be where we really test our professionalism.
This kink is the pride of the Dutch.
That's
The
what
Dutch
that's
and their
exactly
ovens.
what I was thinking. I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm sitting here going, I'm not shaming anybody with this, but it's gonna be so hard for me to be like, not make all the fart jokes.
I know.
No.
I literally just want to lean in the microphone and go, fart in my mouth, Brenda.
No.
Don't fart in my mouth, Ray.
No. Let's be proper. We're going to be talking about methane cuddles.
Methane cuddles.
Methane
we're gonna straight up
cuddles?
be talking.
Yes.
We're gonna straight up be talking about farts next week. So I'm very excited. I'm excited to see how this is a kink.
Yes.
I don't doubt it's a kink. I know for a fact it's a kink, but I'm excited to lean in and really
Rip
kind
one
of
loose.
dig those beans in and get to
Dig
the butt of
those
get to
beans.
the butt of this fetish. It's gonna be a real
No.
gas.
No.
I'm your host, John Dondero.
I love
with
how
me
you
is-
toot your own horn.
Oh, there it is.
Shots fired.
And with me is a woman who may or may not ever fart in front of anybody, Miss Rebecca. And a
Good
man who
evening,
I've
everyone.
lived with years and have never actually heard fart, Mr. Shep.
Ninja. Till next
Yeah,
time.
he does fart.
Ninja fart.
Good night, everybody.